All right, what's going on, everyone? This is Taylor checking in on Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. All righty, quick sound check here in the Essentials room, and then a quick sound check on the YouTubes. All right, good to go. All right, folks. So, couple of updates here to the Big Three Squeeze, and not a big update. So to be really clear, nothing's changed as far as the actual buy and the sell signals. All right, so all of that up there remains the same. The labels have not changed for the buy and the sell signals. The labels for the squeezes have not changed, and then the Big Three squeeze itself has not changed either. So the only changes here for this update have to do with the bull and the bear score. And now we have a new label for the Big Three score, which is your overall grade. So I think the version that you all have right now, your best possible score is a +5 or a -5. So with a real focus on structure and trend, I added a bit more criteria. So now your best possible score for the Bears, and as you can imagine, we're not seeing too many of these right now, but for the Bears, your best possible score is now a -10. For the Bulls here, best possible score is a +10. And then what the Big Three score label does is just take the two scores and then give you the overall grade. So you can see what I love about Amazon here. Bears have 0 points. Bulls get a full 10, so therefore my Big Three score is what? It's a +10 out of 10. My momentum, my moving average crosses, the structure, the direction of the moving averages, everything's coming together just picture perfect. So we added the changes there to the labels, and then we are going to add this to the indicator page tonight. And I think if you're in my mastery, this is already in the room drive. But for your Thinkorswim watch list columns, I have the script for the Big Three score columns. So kind of take you through my daily process now. All right, I got all the squeeze columns here. The monthly, the weekly, the 3-day, all the way down to the 5. And then for my Big Three scores, I've got a column for the weekly, I've got a column for the daily, and I got a column here for the 1 hour. So for our weekly scores, S&Ps are 9 out of 10. All right, they're in really good standing. QQQ is a 9 out of 10. RSP is a +6. The Dow is a +9. And the IWM is a +4. Everything leans pretty bullish. What about my daily scores? S&P is 9 out of 10. IWM, Dow, RSP, all 9 out of 10. And the QQQ is a +6. So just taking that information, just taking the Big Three scores on the indices, am I in a market where I'm thinking about getting short? Where I'm waking up and my focus every day is shorting the rally or finding a squeeze and selling call credit spreads? Absolutely not. If the weekly charts are -5, -6, the daily charts are -9s, at that point, the only thing I can consider doing is get short. Positive scores, all kinds of pretty green. Can't be looking to get short. All right, now I can take it a step further. I can say, all right, what about all the sectors? Is there a sector I want to focus on a bit more than others? More importantly, is there a sector I want to totally avoid? So we throw those on here, and immediately energy should stick out. In the ocean of green, let me get rid of a few of these. Home Depot, get rid of CVS. We'll get rid of MOH. There we go. All right, so out of all these sectors here, you know which one I probably want to avoid? Like the plague to the upside? Energy. Weekly score is -5. Daily score is a -8. The hourly score is a -9. From the weekly chart all the way down to the hourly, this grades out the worst. What am I going to avoid getting long? Anything even remotely related to energy. If I want to get short, am I going to go short big tech? Am I going to go pick on the XLK? Let me see. Where's our XLK? XLK, where are you? There you are. Do I want to go pick on that one? Weekly scores 1 point away from perfect. Daily scores +7. Do I want to go short the Bitcoin futures? +9, +9, +9. Definitely not. All right, and then taking it the next step further. So I got my watch list here, and as a general statement, these are kind of the only names I care about. So MPC shouldn't be on there. UNH should not be on there. So these are what I call my money makers. When I look at my 10 or 11 years of trading, it's the universal 80-20-90-10 rule. I make 90% of my money in 10% of the names I trade. For me, it's always been these names. All right, the FANG stocks, the Magnificent Seven. So this is pretty much what I'm living and breathing, every single day. So I sort by the monthly column. Right, let me get a little bigger picture context here. We got ourselves a few monthly squeezes. Tesla, the Dow, the S&Ps, the IWM, the RSP. The Bitcoin ETF, not too shabby. If I sort by the weekly column, now what is blue? And like I mentioned, we're going to add the links here for the fresh columns to the indicator page. But the baby blue, it's a neutral squeeze. Indicator's not telling me it's about to fire long, not telling me it's about to fire short. It's just saying, hey, heads up, NVIDIA's got a weekly squeeze. If you want to do anything with that, go check it out. Amazon, on the other hand, we got the green big three. And we've got that on Meta, and we've got that on AMD as well. Green big three means we're squeezing, and we've got a buy signal. So probabilities game. Squeeze plus buy signal means good chance of a nice move higher. So now check this out. If we take those three names, right, I'm a swing trader. I like to focus on my weekly squeeze, my daily squeeze. So now I'm gonna do this. Amazon's got a weekly squeeze and a buy signal. Meta's got one. AMD's got one, and then I'm gonna throw a random name on here, UNH. We'll call this update. Okay, UNH no squeeze. So we'll do these three. A huge goal of mine this year, as it relates to swing trading, is less trades, more size. So for easy math, let's just say my average risk per trade, let's just say it's $2,500. Meaning on an average trade, my max loss is $2,500. What I'm trying to get to the point in my trading is what I'm doing, or where I'm doing is, I want to say no to as many setups as possible. Wait for the ideal setup to line up, and then trade that with bigger size. So if I have, say, I've got a setup in one stock that I would call a B+. Not perfect, but pretty damn good. I've got in an A-. Not perfect, but pretty close. There's a B-. I could allocate 2,500 to each. All right, I'll take a shot at the B+. I'll take a shot at the B-. I'll take a shot at the A-. What I want to do is say no, and no, and no. And then when I get my A+ setup, I want to trade that with 5,000 or 7,500 of risk. So less trades, more size. Right? Truly saving the powder for your money makers. So what you should be doing before the year ends is figure out what setups work for you with consistency right, over the last 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, however long you've been trading. And then I think just as important, in which names does that setup work? If I show you my track record of trading weekly and daily squeezes in the FANG stocks, you're thinking, hey, take my money. I want you to manage my own money. If I showed you my track record trading the same exact setup, same time frame, same buy signal, same everything, in names outside of the big 7, the big 8, you're thinking this guy probably shouldn't be trading. Your track record might be different. That's my track record. My track record says don't throw 2,500 at the Walmart daily squeeze. You ain't never made anything to show for your work on Walmart. But man, you get that same setup in a Google, oh baby. So with that being said, less trades, more size. My weekly signal says I could trade any of these. Right? They're all valid. How can I play process of elimination? All right, I'm going to check the daily scores. With the context of them all looking really good on the weekly, who looks the best here on the daily? Who looks the worst? By far the best on the daily is Amazon. 7 out of 10 means Amazon's very much aligned. I'm sorry, 10 out of 10 means Amazon's perfect. Structure, momentum, everything fully aligned for a push higher. Where can that become a very powerful signal? When that's taking place inside of a weekly squeeze. Meta, on the other hand, -2. Does Meta have a beautiful weekly squeeze? You bet. The indicator doesn't lie. Sure enough, there it is. If I pop open the hood here, all right, how's the hourly doing? Or the daily chart, rather. Is it the perfect short? I don't think I would go that far. But we're under the 21. We're under the 50. Momentum broke. We probably don't have stacked EMAs. All right, now what about Amazon? Does Amazon also have a perfect weekly squeeze? You bet. Pop open the hood to Amazon. Look at the quality of your daily chart. It's perfect. So the score tells me, without having to do that work, if I'm going to pick a weekly squeeze to buy today, there's a little bit more alignment in Amazon than there is in Meta. So we're going to eliminate Meta here, and we are down to 2. Amazon versus AMD. For the sake of discussion, let's just pretend AMD also had a perfect 10 on the daily. So both of them got 10 out of 10 on the weekly. They both got 10 out of 10 on the daily. What do I do now? I'm going to look at the hourly scores. Amazon's got a +7. AMD's got a -7. Which of the two am I going to go with? I'm going with Amazon. So now I can take any name and in a matter of a couple tenths of a second, figure out, is it a better trade than Amazon? So if we throw NVIDIA up here, no, that's how quick. They both got weekly squeezes, but the quality's nowhere. The quality is just not the same. Weekly versus weekly, 10, 6. Daily versus daily, +10, 0. Hourly, 5, -4. And you can add a column for the 30-minute, the 15-minute. You can do any column you would like. So one name that got thrown out to me in the options room earlier was MPC and UNH. So as soon as I hit enter here on UNH, you'll see why I like it. Hell yeah, right? Like, yeah, that's the good stuff. Weekly 9, daily 10, hourly 10. I've got a monthly squeeze setting up. I have a 2-day, daily, 4-hour, hourly squeeze and a buy signal. Now, I'm not going to trade UNH. Just my track record says just focus on the big 7, the big 8. But setup versus setup, you put a gun to my head. I have to pick one today. UNH is going to get the nod. The hourly is a little bit stronger. There's way more squeezes and buy signals. And then you throw a name like ExxonMobil at me, and we ain't even thinking about getting long Exxon. No siree. So, question for all of you listening: throw me a few of your better picks right now. I gave the same challenge to the Gold Room earlier. Beat Amazon, Google, and Meta. So I'm going to throw my 4 picks on here. I am watching Tesla. I am watching Meta, and we got some Google. And I want a little more Google. Out of my 4 picks, clear as day, Amazon's the best. All right, CLF, Costco. So what I'm really looking for the combination of, which is why I like Amazon, why I really like UNH, high quality setup, momentum wise, structure wise, and then a crap load of squeezes. So if I could take a screenshot of what the radar is going to ideally look like when something is just like top shelf, it's a UNH. 9, 10, 10, 1 squeeze, 2 squeeze, 3 squeeze, 4 squeeze, 5 squeeze. If I throw a name like, say, Mara on here, Mara is very bullish. 7, 9, 9. High quality momentum, high quality structure. I don't have any way to trade it. I don't have that fresh weekly squeeze I got setting up in Amazon. I don't have the hourly squeeze I got setting up in UNH. So when I look at CLF, weekly score is pretty good. The daily score is 1 point away from perfect. What can I do with that? And you all know I'm a little bit one-dimensional as far as it's really just a squeeze first and really a squeeze-only focus. UNH is giving me 1, 2, 3, 4 time frames saying, hey, buy it right here and right now. A name like a CLF, a name like a Mara. You know what that probably implies? I'm way too late. All right, I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to go focus on Amazon, see if Amazon can't turn into a Mara-like mover. All right, a few more here that I'll do some Q&A. So one of you call out Costco. So Costco's another example. Top shelf quality, 9, 9, 9. With the exception of the monthly squeeze, which could be very interesting. I'm too late. When I look at that radar and there's no daily squeeze setting up, there's no 3-day or a 2-day or a 4-hour hourly. Usually means I'm late to the party. You got a bunch of 8s, a bunch of 9s, and there's no fresh squeeze. Typically means you had your ideal trade a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago. My man Danny's got XEL. Okay, now here's a good one. So let me get rid of all of these just so I can show you what I'm doing with this on a day-to-day basis. All right, so XEL, right, smaller energy kind of stock, and then MPC, which I think is kind of in the same boat. For conversation's sake, let's just say they're both in the same boat. All right, and we can see immediately who has the better overall score. The hourly charts are pretty close. We are tied on the daily charts. But what's my goal this year? All right. Less trades, more size. Might be a good license plate. Differentiating factor here is the weekly score. MPC's got a 10. XCL has just got a 1. Now, if we pull up the weekly charts, all right, what does it actually look like? A 10 versus a 1. Here's MPC. Buy signals, good structure, at the buy zone in a squeeze. Chef's kiss. XCL. No buy signal. You're under the 50. You're under the 21. No real trend. It didn't rally into the squeeze. Process of elimination. So now what I should be able to do is drop 10 names in here, 15 names, 20 names, start to weed them out that way. Right. If I'm thinking bullish, right, and I'm going to throw, 10 random names in here, Twilio. Let's get a little bit of Bank of America. Let's get some Johnson & Johnson. Let's go with a little bit of BYND. How about some Square? How about some freaking Lululemon? Who else? I'm going to throw, I'll throw the transports in here. So we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I'm thinking bullish, I can already eliminate 2 immediately. Johnson & Johnson and BYND. If I've narrowed down my watch list to these handful of names, and these 2 are negative, you got to get out of here. All right, now I've narrowed it down a bit more. So now I can take my weekly scores. We've got a 10, a 9, a 9, a 6, and then Square is a 4, so I'm going to get rid of Square. BAC is a 2, so I'm going to get rid of that 2. And then XCL is a 1, so I'm going to get rid of that 1. And now on my weekly, I'm left with a 10, a 6, a 9, and a 9. Daily charts are all pretty equal. All right, if I got to only pick one today, I got to bang it down to the hourly. Twilio wins the fight. Hourly looking good. But there you have it, folks. So additional criteria for the bear score, additional criteria for the bull score. That brings your best possible score to a positive 10 or a negative 10. And now the big 3 score label and the big 3 score watch list columns just gives you the overall grade. Bulls get -5, or bulls get +5, bears get -5. You're looking at a big 3 score of 0. The bulls got some, the bears got some. No one's really got decisive control. Bulls get 9 points, bears have 0. The math would say big 3 score is a 9. Hey, what's up, John? Good to see you. Let me see, Pepsi. We throw Pepsi in here, and you're looking to get short HAL. All right, so we're throwing Pepsi in here. So we got a daily squeeze, a 4-hour squeeze, a 1-hour squeeze. Only thing I don't love is the weekly. Now, if you're just trading the hourly squeeze, you're in, you're looking for a pop, you're going to hit the road, then the weekly score might not matter as much. If the thinking is, hey, I'm going to hold this for a few days, maybe a few weeks, then that'd be one important observation. Of all the random names we got here, Pepsi has the worst weekly score. Oh, yeah, gold. Gold might be a good one to look at. So HAL for a short. Okay. Now, if we're looking for a short, now we're talking. Good call out. The weekly's -5, daily -8, hourly -9. You have a daily squeeze and a sell signal, a 4-hour and a 2-hour. What that gives you is alignment for a move lower. Yeah, let me check gold. Weekly gets a 9, the daily gets a 7, and now the hourly is getting a -5. So context, do I want to buy puts in my entire account on gold? Well, the hourly might be negative, but it's in the context of a good daily chart and a good weekly chart. So my thinking as a trader is instead, as long as those scores are positive, the overall pathways for resistance should be to the upside. So until that changes, I'm going to let the hourly chart throw its little hissy fit. Let that print out a negative reading, -5, -7, -8, and then I'm going to watch for the turn. The weekly still checks out, the daily still checks out, and then all of a sudden one morning, the hourly score goes from -5 to 0. All right, the selling pressure might be over. Let's keep watching it. 0 goes to +4. +4 goes to 5, +6. I'm watching that turn under the surface to try and help me time those trades. All right, so when I throw my watch list on here, we got a trade in Google right now. I want to add to it. Am I in a huge rush to add to it? Frankly, no. The daily chart is a -6, so we're slipping a little bit there. Hourly chart's a -4. I don't have any squeezes with buy signals. If I gotta buy something today, gotta be Amazon. Or one of the names that grades out better than Google right now. All right, a few more here. We'll do silver. So what just came to my mind for silver is be ready to buy the dip. All right, why do I say that? Weekly 10 out of 10, daily 7 out of 10. I have a monthly squeeze and a buy signal. I have a weekly squeeze and a buy signal. And my hourly chart is throwing a little bit of a hissy fit. So long as that doesn't change, and that doesn't change, and that, I want to look for the turn. Inside of a big weekly squeeze, inside of a big monthly squeeze, if I can catch that hourly turning positive, right, they take it lower, they stabilize it, they get it back into an uptrend, I can potentially time a really nice entry here for silver. So let's go check that one out. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. I like it. I like it. So, Mark, either later tonight or early tomorrow morning, they're going to add the code here for the columns to the indicator page. And when they do, I'll either have them send out another email, or they can just give me the thumbs up, and then I'll shoot an alert in the different rooms. And then for all of you in my mastery, I'll be live with you tomorrow afternoon. So we'll definitely have more time to kind of walk through this, talk through this. And then most importantly, get some trades on. All right, I'm going to jump over here to YouTube, see if you got any questions over here. Hey, what's up, Marco? Thank you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Marco, how's your trading been this week? How's everyone's trading been this week? What day is it? It's Tuesday, right? It's only Tuesday. I haven't done anything this week. And by anything, I mean anything. I haven't done a futures trade. I haven't done a day trade. I haven't done a swing trade. I haven't bartered, no form of trade at all. But that goes back to less trades, more size. Like I'm drooling. I'm drooling over Amazon right now. But I'm being a patient fella. Being a patient fella. Hey, you made your first profit in the futures. There we go. A little round of applause for that. What did you trade? Was it the ES futures, the NQ? Were you long? Were you short? Awesome stuff, though. Awesome stuff. Yeah, Bruce, I'm sure it's been a tricky week for the condors and the flies. So not to get off topic, I'll figure out the exact day. I think we're going to schedule a session here in the Essentials room. And whenever we do it, we'll do it live on YouTube as well, where I'm going to break down my 2024 goals, different strategies, different focuses. What one thing I'm really trying to focus on more and more in terms of where do I put my mental capital, where do I put my physical capital. I take an iron condor versus, say, the trade we just did on Tesla. So the trade I just did on Tesla, we bought some call debit spreads back here. We caught the pop. We caught the push into 250. That trade had a lot more to go. As far as potential profit, had it continued to push, we cashed out for a 200% return. Or one trade I'm looking at right now is Amazon. All right, I want to take that Amazon weekly squeeze, and as soon as a QQQ gives me a trigger to get long, where's Amazon? So right now, 3 average true range moves above the weekly 21 is about 160. And I love that about the squeeze. It's very straightforward. So long as that signal prints, might last for a month, it might disappear next week. As long as it prints, very good probability of a push towards 2.5 to 3 ATR. So my favorite trade for this kind of thing is I'm going to take that target. I'm going to give my trade ample time till expiration. I'm going to buy some 160 calls, or I'm doing a debit spread. I want to do something out the money up there at that 3 ATR target. Now, the beauty of that, I'll show you Tesla because Tesla's more of an extreme example. But right now, we're waiting for Tesla to finally get the weekly buy signal. What I would love is if Tesla could get that buy signal anywhere under 250. Reason being is for a weekly squeeze, a daily squeeze, you always want to aim to buy it as close to that 21 EMA as possible. So wave the magic wand. Next week, Tesla goes green. The weekly chart finally gets a big 3 buy signal. If that's taking place anywhere near 240, 245, 250, in my experience, it's the best risk reward entry you're ever going to get. Because from there, if I buy it right here, call it, I'm taking that trade off on a break of that weekly 21. So equity for equity, if I buy it at 245-ish, I'm taking it off under 235-ish. So I'm risking, we'll call it anywhere from $5 to $10 on the equity before even getting a weekly buy signal. Right now, that 3 ATR target is 306. So I'm going to call it 300. We'll be modest. We'll call it 300. So wave the magic wand. Tesla's hanging around 240. Weekly chart finally goes green. Right, we get our little green arrow. if the trade works meaning the squeeze eventually fires long, and we're up here around 300, I stand to catch 50, 60 plus dollars on Tesla in exchange for a loss of anywhere from 5 to 10. Now translate that to your options trading. That's a setup, that's an entry where even if it worked 20% of the time, you're going to walk away profitable. 8 times in a row, you can lose 5 or 10 bucks. The couple of times you catch 50, 60, that out the money call, debit spread, the calls you bought, huge return. So I'm saying this to say, where I'm thinking about what I really want to focus on this year. When I say less trades, more size, it's for things like that. I don't mean more size in terms of, hey, I'm going to put on a bunch of cash here and I'm going to sit here and take it on the chin. No, what I mean is in spots where my risk is very limited, I want to get in really heavy. Few of those per year might make my entire year. So for me personally, when I compare that to iron condors on the other side of the spectrum, much higher probability in nature, depending on how you structure them. But if you're in my mastery, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You already know where I'm going with this. We did iron condors, I think, 5 weeks in a row. Made money, made money, made money, made money, made money, made money. Favorite trade in the world for 5 weeks in a row. Week 6 comes around. That one didn't work. I'm pretty sure it wiped away all those gains. So I'm not saying I'm not going to do iron condors, but as far as where am I really going to put that mental and physical capital? It's the setups and the moments in time where there's a very high probability I'm going to get the move I'm looking for. But based on where I'm taking my entry, based on my target, I don't need a 70, 80% win rate. So things for all of us to be considering as we approach 2024, the Kobe year. So Taz, good question. I think December is a little bit too close. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, if you buy Tesla 300 calls today, and by December 15th, we are at 300, you will be my new rich friend. I'm thinking a bit more March, April. When and if Tesla gets a weekly buy signal, it could keep squeezing for another 2, 3, 4 weeks. Then the push begins. That push can take another 2, 3, 4 weeks. So if you buy them for December and I buy them for April, and then Tesla goes right to 300, you will have a much more profitable time than I will. Johnny, as far as anything to do with scans for TradingView, I have not heard any updates. Last update I heard was they're trying to work on the simpler scanner, but I haven't heard too much on that. I can check in on that for you, though. Okay, Rushi, so awesome question. What do I mean by be patient? So to me, like the ultimate moment in time, so we'll call this the ultimate moment in time, is alignment, meaning all of your signals line up. Whatever indicators you use to gauge path of least resistance, etc., they're all lining up. Alignment in market, the stock, and the sector. That's the ultimate moment in time. So an example of what I don't like right now, take a name like an energy related kind of thing. MPC's got a great setup. My favorite time to trade MPC with that setup would be when the market and the sector look just as good. When I look at XLE, it's kind of a total disaster. Now, a comparison, Amazon. How's the stock? It's beautiful. Squeezes, buy signals. Mm-mm-mm. How's the market? Well, we'll call it QQQ. I don't see any issues. A weekly squeeze just fired. We're at the daily 21. We got buy signals. Okay, what about the sector? We'll call that XLK. That all looks pretty bullish as well. You're at support. You got buy signals. So all of that adds context to that one setup. It's not just the fact I like the Amazon daily squeeze. It's an Amazon daily squeeze in the context of a strong market. So both Amazon and the market are aligned. And then you have the same alignment here in XLK. So for those of you that have watched, if you watch JC for really any length of time, think of when does John typically have those big 7-figure trades, and really sit down and think about this as far as how can it apply to your trading. Like me personally, maybe a few of you, we might not have the cash to jump into a big 7-figure trade, but what is he really doing during those times? He's stepping up to the plate when he's got that moment in time. There's always these similarities where there's a big daily squeeze in the stock he's trading. So think of all his Google trades. Think of his Tesla trades. I think every single one of those big 7-figure trades, he had a daily squeeze. Not just in the stock, but in the market. He didn't nail that huge Google trade while the QQQ is in a downtrend. If I remember correctly, here comes Google, big daily squeeze. And then here comes QQQ, big daily squeeze. Right? The stock, the sector, the market, everything lined up on the same page. So those are the moments in time that I try to wait for. Awesome questions here, y'all. Awesome questions. But yeah, awesome work on your futures trade. Congrats. Now make sure you write down today's date. All right, put a little reminder in your calendar for this day next year. And then next year, remind yourself this was the day you made your first profit on the futures. And hopefully, a year from today, you're looking back on how far you came from that first green trade. Awesome stuff. Oh, okay, Amazon. So, gotcha. So what we're watching right now, as far as are we getting long here? Are we waiting? We have a lot of 4-hour squeezes. So I got my money makers here. Apple's got a 4-hour squeeze. Amazon, QQQ, Tesla, the S&Ps, the semiconductors. So right now, I'm kind of using the 4-hour squeeze as my compass. If at any point I'm looking for a short here in the QQQ or these FANG stocks, I've got to see that 4-hour squeeze break short. Being that I'm a bit more bullish for the reasons discussed, what I'm looking for here for the entry, starting with the QQQ. All right, first comes QQQ, then comes all the stocks. I want to see them position the 4-hour squeeze to fire long. What does the big 3 score on the QQQ 4-hour say? It says -1. That's not setting up for a huge push higher. It's really not setting up for a huge flush lower. It's kind of nothing going on here right now. Momentum's under 0. We're under the 21 EMA. But taking all of our context, we got big weekly squeezes. We got daily charts at support. We got daily buy signals. What I want to see here from the 4-hour squeeze is a 4-hour close back above that 21. and then a positive score on the big three. If they can get it to that point, then I think they might try to slingshot the squeeze higher. We're in the squeeze, down goes momentum. We're hanging out under that 21 EMA. They're trying to position the squeeze to fire short. But if they don't get it to break short, and we're back above that 21, we're stabilizing. Here comes your 15-minute buy signal. Here comes your 30-minute. Then my bet would be, all right, they tried to take it down. Close, but no cigar. Now the 4-hour squeeze should slingshot right back towards the highs. So starting with the QQQ, if I can get that trigger in the QQQ, then I've got my green light from Mama Market to jump over to Amazon and say, all right, I'm buying my calls. So the next meaningful move in the market, like a move that can last for a handful of days, whether that be long or short. Right now, I'm going to have to say long. I think it's going to come from all these 4-hour squeezes. So next Friday, Amazon's up here at 155. You know what happened? QQQ fired the 4-hour squeeze long, and then Amazon followed suit. If next week Amazon's back here at 135, then you know what probably happened? QQQ 4-hour squeeze broke short, and then Amazon followed suit. And what I value about that is I'm probably going to stay out of trouble. I'm not going to get short too quick. I'm not going to get long too quick. Like they say in Jurassic Park, stay out of the long grass. The chop is the long grass. Yes, so with the new update, the new update includes the big three score label, the tweaks to the bull score and the bear score, and then we're going to throw the links on the indicator page for all these watch list columns. And then what I plan to do before the week is over, I'm going to record like one more formal walkthrough of the changes, how to put together the watch list columns, all those finer details. And I'll put that on my YouTube channel. So I'll send out the link when I do that. And then, like I mentioned, we'll be in the mastery tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. So any other questions, any other help you need, we shall have time for that as well. So non-emotional trader, if you have the big three squeeze, which if you took my last class, you have that, you get the updates. And that's how it'll always be with this indicator. Any changes, any tweaks, any updates, you don't got to repurchase or any crap like that. All right. Well, I am going to conclude my search for a trade for today. This is a little bit of a snooze fest. It feels like the market's waiting on something. So what do I think is the best delta for Amazon? So my thinking is I'm going to go March expiration. And you can go a little bit less. You can go a little bit more. But I'm thinking March expiration. I want to buy calls up there at my target. So the goal would be to do something out the money on the call side. That can be a 160 butterfly, call butterfly. It could be a 160, 165 call debit spread. You could just buy the 160 calls. But the goal would be to do something up there at 160 out the money. And then try to give that trade enough time till expiration where potentially that position can end up in the money. So I'm going to go with either calls or a debit spread. Just buy the 160 calls or a debit spread up there. Yeah, so that's a good question. So for any of you that have The previous version of the Big Three squeeze, I would delete everything, wipe your platform of anything Big Three related, and then take the updated link that will give you for the Flex Grid, import that Flex Grid, and then with that it'll import all the indicators and such. All right, let me see if we got any more questions here on the YouTube. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up for now, and then I'll be back here in the Essentials room tomorrow morning for pre-market prep. And then Mastery folks will be live at the usual 10:30 Central. Hey, what's going on, B. Martin? So for moving averages, I have the 21 EMA, and that's a white one. So 21 period exponential. The blue moving average is the 50 SMA, so 50 simple, and then the red moving average is the 200 SMA. So 21, the 50, and the 200. Oh, I'm sorry. You're asking about these lines. Okay, so those are Keltner channels. So those are Keltner channels, and they're measuring a factor of 1. So an average true range move of 1 above and below that 21 EMA. So Keltner channels are the factor of 1, length of 21, average type exponential. Yeah, Jason, that might be what the market's waiting for. It's just got that feel to it. It's got that smell to it. The Bears try to get a little something going, nothing gives. Bulls try to get a little something going, nothing gives. So jobs tomorrow and then CPI next week. And then we'll all find out whether or not we get the Santa Claus rally after that. But all right, folks, I'm going to let you go here. As always, I appreciate the time. I appreciate all the questions. And hey, as always, you don't have to have my indicator. You don't have to have any of Simpla's indicators. Frankly, you don't have to have any paid indicators. The major thing I hope you take from these sessions is, what can you do with the tools that you use, right? Paid, free, whatever the case may be, to make yourself that much more of a disciplined trader. Taking the tools at your exposure, trying to automate your process. Now, when you can learn how to write out, signals and watch list columns, that does make it easier. But whatever your momentum tools are, could be MACD, could be the squeeze histogram, could be the 10x bars, whatever you're using for structure and trend, could be Moxie, could be David's indicators, could be Sam's high-low, the trend oscillator, whatever it is, try to find a way to let those tools automate your process. Ideally, you're trying to get to a point in a world where things are always changing, that world being the market. You're trying to make your trades like the free throw, right? The free throw in basketball. So you get fouled, you get your free throw shot. It's the only shot in basketball where the variables don't change. You're always shooting 15 feet away from the hoop. The basketball is always 10 feet above the ground, or the rim rather. The ball is always the same size. It's the one shot in basketball that's always a constant. For your day trading, for your swing trading, try to get it to the point where you're taking your free throw. You're not going to make all of them, but you're just trying to make it the same shot over and over and over again. So for those of y'all with the Big Three squeeze and all the tools here, hopefully you find the update helpful. For the rest of you, hopefully you got a couple of ideas as far as what can you do with whatever tools you're currently using. So before I let you go, here would be my advice. For those of you that don't have my indicators, right, build out a scoring system. And, just basic kind of thing, right? Price is above the 21 EMA, 1 point for the bulls. Price is above the 50 SMA, right? 1 point for the bulls. Something like the 8 EMA is above 21 EMA. Right, 1 point for the bulls. My MACD is above 0. Take the indicators that you use, and you should have a momentum indicator, a structure indicator, a trend indicator. Based on whatever you use, build out that scoring system. It could be something as simple as this. All right, if price is above the 21, it's a point for the bulls. If it's above the 50, it's a point. If the 8 is above that 21, it's a point. MACD is above 0, that's a point. So for a bullish trade, your best possible score here is a +4. So say you take Google, and Google is a +2. You take Meta, and Meta is a 0. You got none of that. And then Amazon is a +4. Process of elimination, less trades, more size. I'm getting rid of the 0. I'm getting rid of the +2, and I'm going with the best in show. But all right, my friends, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Hope you have a great night, and I appreciate your time.